Hello. Welcome to the Doug Rice Show. I'm Doug Rice. Let's talk. How you doing? Just coming back from, doing a lot of business, trying to make sure everybody's taken care of. Today's always a good day if things are going well. And because I am not one to just have my hand out, I'm not going to beg. I'm not a preacher. I am not I'm not a minister. I'm not ministering. I'm not administering. I tell a story. How about that? I tell what I feel you may want to hear. And for those of you that listen, I say thank you. For those of you that do not, I say, well, I'm sorry about all of that. So how's everybody doing? So listen, folks, doing the Black News thing as I do every evening. Again, welcome, Doug Rice, to the show. I wonder if my chat can be seen. I think so. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Okay, how's everybody doing? So, top of the news, Black News. What is up in Michigan? Michigan police cuff Black real estate agent, client, and their child in a home they're touring and considering moving into. And I'm certain that since this has happened, well, their opinion about the neighborhood they were considering moving in has dimmed a bit. Let's read it. So this is from ABC News. ABC News. And again, folks, I share this on my social media, so you can see this on Twitter. And you can go to Rug Dicer. So Michigan police, just following the narrative, police in West Michigan handcuffed a real estate agent, his client, and that man's 15-year-old son after a neighbor wrongfully reported that the three Black people were breaking into a home. Now listen, folks. Now, if a neighbor is close enough to see three people go into a home, they're probably close enough to see the for sale sign. They're probably close enough to see they're not, I would say I can assume they weren't in atypical garb, if you wish. You know, the garb that we dress in at times that gives the wrong signal to our oppressors, misinforming them that what they're seeing on TV is somehow reality. That, my friends, is caucasity. That's what I beg all of us to avoid. And here, at the moment in time, I at least tell folks, listen, pay attention to what I'm saying. Here is caucasity in all its glory. Now, let's continue. The Associated Press yesterday. Very interesting. Wyoming, Michigan. Police in West Michigan handcuffed a real estate agent, his client, that man's 15-year-old son, after a neighbor wrongly reported that the three Black people were breaking into a home. The agent, Eric Brown, told WOOD-TV that the police were responding. The police response in Wyoming, including 2 out of 5 officers who drew their guns, felt aggressive and threw me back. The agent, Eric Brown, told WOOD the police response August 1st. Write the shit correctly. In Wyoming, or read it correctly, I guess. Including 2 out of 5 officers who drew their guns, felt aggressive and threw me back. Listen, this is the danger. I mean, we can't go tour a home, and I guess if I say something about this, am I fomenting the racist sentiment that no doubt expressed itself in the neighbor who called police to say that because 3 Black people were in her field of fucking vision. Let's not water shit down. This has nothing to do with these folks in that house, near that house. I'm going to tell you something that every one of us knows. Those 3 brothers could be standing in front of her house, could be standing down the goddamn street, talking They could have been parked in their car. They could have been standing in their car, and that neighbor would have still called the police, because it wasn't the fact that they were going near a home that this neighbor knew full damn well was up for sale. He wanted, let's express it. That neighbor wanted to send a message. Who's scared to say it? I'm not. All they do is they say a neighbor wrongfully reported a neighbor. That neighbor did not wrongfully report a goddamned thing. Let me explain, folks. Let's reason this out. Let's break this down like a fucking fraction, okay? Now, I live in my damn neighborhood, and I'm going to tell you something. I've been here 10 years, and I know when a house is for sale. I can also tell you, if I see people going up to a house that has a for sale sign, or a house that I know is vacant and may or may not soon be occupied, I'm able to stand out, look, assess, make decisions, come to conclusions that make goddamn sense, that tell me I don't need to call the police. These folks are looking at the house to occupy, right? This neighbor knew the same thing. I'll read it again. After a neighbor wrongfully reported that the 3 black people were breaking into a home. That's not what was going on. What was going on is the neighbor needed to send a national message that reverberated around this goddamn country that said, there in Wyoming, Michigan, black people are not welcome. The fuck you think, man? What you think? The neighbor didn't think to just know when he was that frightened? And look, let me tell you something, partner. I don't give a fuck. You show your ass up in my neighborhood before I call the police, you're going to know who I am. You're going to know who called the police. Because I'm going to come up and say something. I'm going to ask questions. I'm not going to just I'm not going to be a punk. I'm not just going to peek out my window and call the police on you. Hell no. I live there. I'm going to know what's going on. How you doing? What's up? Oh, I'm just showing these folks the house you talking about renting. Cool. Have a good day. Mine, which I should have been doing in the first place. But if I got to, that's how I'm going to do it, right? Okay, so what do you think this neighbor was really doing? What the fuck? And you know, they got this as I don't know, what is this? A puff piece? What is this? ABC News, and this has been covered. They're reporting this as if this this neighbor put in play through careful consideration, more likely had it in his mind before black people showed up at the home. Knew that if black people showed up and went in that house, I'm going to call the cops to say that they're breaking in. So when no black people move in this neighborhood. What? Oh, I'm sorry, y'all didn't know the 400 years is over. We can say what the fuck we want now. So, black news. How do you like it? Now, here's what I know works better for me. I don't read what's over here. I just don't. I know there's a camera here, so I'm looking in the camera. I'm trying to make a connection with everybody. So you guys got to talk amongst yourself. Here's the reason this works. It worked on TikTok, and I did fairly well. I think everybody agrees. The writing is a little small. It does take me off my square to read what's going on over here. Plus, there might be a detractor, an oppressor in here. They might be getting vigorous. So I'll ask if any of you here willing to come to the defense of the Doug, please put these motherfuckers where they belong if they fuck with me. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, so let's move on. So that kind of tops black news. And I think this is a good format because what's going on, folks, is when I search term black news, just those two words, it's very interesting. it gives me the top stories involving us Negroes. Now, if you don't know, and you should, Doug Rice, I've come to the conclusion, the learned conclusion, the studied conclusion, the conclusion that comes from time and, oh my God, prayer, meditation, common goddamn sense. We're Hebrews. We're Hebrews. Now, it puts a biblical slant on the show. I get it. But I don't want there to be any fucking confusion. I'm not a reverend. Well, because I'm not reverend. I could give a fuck. The reason I use profanity is so that I completely differentiate myself from those who might assume that I'm a reverend, and also rid myself of those offended by what you might consider foul language. Fuck you. Leave. You see, first, I don't know who said it, but I like the way it sounds. I don't trust a motherfucker that don't curse. And I certainly don't trust a motherfucker that gets offended at profanity. Fuck you. Let me tell you why. First, it's not really cursing. Cursing is me wishing something bad upon you in the name of the Most High God. I have never done that in my life. That's a curse. That's what they're scared of, that we might call a curse on them. I didn't want to detract, but you guys should know that. So I don't curse. I use profanity. And just to give you a heads up, it's expletive serves two purposes. First, it makes my goddamn point. Second, I don't give a fuck. And the folks that I want to watch this don't mind me using profanity. The folks that I don't, the folks that I want not to watch this, they get offended. I want them out. That's caucasity. Let me tell you why, if you are offended at profanity, why that is caucasus. You want me to tell you? I'm going to tell you. It's caucasus for the simple fact that truly evil motherfuckers, and I do mean some sinister bastards that exist in this world, also find profanity offensive. But they don't mind peddling a little bit of child sex slavery. They don't mind sacrificing people. They don't mind calling up entities and shit. Oh, but if you say fuck around any of these tightwad, uptight motherfuckers, let me tell you something, partner, they will dismiss you. In fact, let me just say this. I'll say this out. I think if you use profanity, I don't even believe they'll let you join. Ain't that a bitch? Ain't that a motherfucker? I need you to think about that shit. For real? No, really. No, sir, you're too crude. I'm too crude? Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. You're using foul language. And we don't do that. Don't you motherfuckers sacrifice kids or some shit and you talking about my fucking life? You tripping. Really? Yes, I'm sorry. What do you... Okay, well, all right. That makes sense, right? So I'm going to use profanity. I'm going to do it all day. And for those of you that can't take it, I do this fairly well. All right. Also, just my bona fide. So you have my fucking stats. The reason I'm somewhat adept at this is because I've been telemarketing for 30 years. If you close your eyes and listen, you've probably talked to me on the phone at some point. I've asked you for money. I've gotten your credit card, something sinister or some type of fraud. I don't know. But that was years ago. I was young. I'm 55 now. I've run so many call centers, statute limitations, long past. It's been that long. But if you close your eyes, you can. It's Doug Rice. I used my real name, so don't get offended. Now I'm on some different shit. On top of me believing, knowing, coming to the goddamn conclusion that we are Hebrews, and that the folks over in Israel are just chilling. And I'm not going to talk bad about these folks. Now, and that's where I think we go wrong. Here's a reason I think we go wrong talking about the imposters, the Ashkenazi imposters. And I say that softly because I think it's time. Let me explain. They do worship the Most High God. And much imposter as they might be, they're going through the motions, they're doing the things that are supposed to be done. They worship our God. So they'll have a use, I'm certain. I'm pretty sure. I don't know that we're just going to kick them out, but we're going to, we're going to have to make room, but it'll be cool. I think they'll be fine. Once they realize we're cool with them, I think they'll be fine. I think it'll almost be instantaneous. And for God's sake, they sure could use a little bit of infusion of melanin in their society. They got the highest skin cancer rates of any country you can ever imagine, and yet they're supposed to be God's chosen people in Israel. The irony. Oh, I'm sorry. How's everybody doing? I didn't mean to look down there. Y'all talk amongst yourself. Y'all talk amongst yourselves. All right. So that's the top story. Michigan police cuff black real estate agent. And here's the deal, bro. Folks, I can't even imagine the terror. Let me tell you something, man. You don't know if you can get out of that shit alive. Let me tell you something, man. When they point their gun at you, they're ready to kill you. Don't get it fucking twisted. It's not the fucking movies, man. I'm going to tell you that. Not one of you misunderstand. When they draw their weapons out and point them in your direction, they mean to kill you. They just need the excuse. Muster the courage. You flinch, move wrong. You associate anything you do with a threatening gesture. For God's sake, folks, that's the end of you. That's the tightrope we walk. That's the fucking thread we each hang from. You know that young lady that determined she walked in her brother's apartment, and she was a cop, and she killed him right in his own fucking home. She got time. She appealed. She got denied, and she just cried in the courthouse and made a fuss. And I mean, for God's sake, folks, I would expect that she should take it just like the guy did that killed, that murdered George Floyd. She got 10 years. She got 10 years. If I'm not mistaken, I believe I'm correct. I mean, something in that ballpark. So she should be okay. If not, well, more power to her. Either direction. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the show. Doug Rice here. This is the Doug Rice Show. Let's talk. And I've decided to stick with the format, the original format, which was when I specifically do a live, I don't read what's happening here. I don't look at the comments, only because they are distracting and they take me off my square. I have to stay on my square because the news is in front of me. The reasons I express a disdain for caucasity and all it stands for. And I have to make clear that caucasity, the disdain for, is nothing to do with any group of people. You know, I know that it sounds caucasus, that it sounds as if, you know, those terms lean toward a specific group, but that's not the case. I've come to that conclusion. I've caught myself being caucasus. It's bad. So I got to shake this shit off just like everybody else, folks. Doug Rice, welcome. So here we go. We looked up the search term Black News. So there's the headlines. So let's look up blacknews.com. It's headlines. Blacknews.com headlines. You know, they don't seem to really change what's going on. Dad killed after confronting teenage boy who snuck in his home to see his underage daughter. Dad killed. I thought dad killed the teenage boy. I did misread that. Black family, yes. Nationwide, Desmond Hamilton, a 34-year-old father from Zachary, Louisiana, shot, killed in his own home by a teenage boy after he was caught trying to sneak in to see his daughter, who is a minor. The incident happened around 8 a.m. when Hamilton caught 17-year-old Nicholas, I didn't make this up, McQuarter, in his home attempting to visit his 14-year-old daughter. The teen apparently climbed through the second-story window. Police Chief David McDavid told WBRZ. So that's just tragic. That's freaking horrible, for God's sake. Again, you want to read it, you can look right there on my Twitter page. The handle is Rug Dicer. My God, that's horrible. For goodness sake, man. Blacknews.com. Dad killed. So what do you do about that? What can you do? I mean, you put the kid in jail for the rest of his life. He's killed somebody. Lives are ruined. I'm saddened to see that. But that is Black News. And, you know, when I go through this, I'm looking for something that might catch my eye, that at least I can comment on directly. Just saw something interesting. Al B. Shore fully recovers after being told he had only 4 months to live. Al B. Shore fully recovers after being told he had only 4 months to live. Has been able to completely bounce back. Now, seems like a very upbeat and uplifting story, but let me just tell you, I can imagine that in the minds of some of our oppressors, that gives them concern. I won't even venture and start speaking on why I would think that would give them concern. I can only point to the fact that so many of us go missing every year. Our organs are very, very valuable. Said that he had been diagnosed with a gallbladder issue, a blockage, toxic internal problems. Wow, over 300 pounds. He had to go undergo weight loss surgery. So, I don't know, sheer will, maybe that melanin might have something to do with it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You guys talk amongst yourself. You guys work it out, but that's the news. That is the news. I don't know if I want to, well, I guess I could post that one. I got to post what I talk about. Continuity. There we go. Okay, I'll be sure. So, interesting. Blacknews.com, their headlines don't change too often, but hey, I like it. Black News Channel, Truth Illuminated with a green check mark, which means they're verified. BNC TV, what do the headlines have to offer? Why should we avoid caucasity? How can we recognize it in the headlines? I don't know. I'm just doing this shit. Okay. Breaking news. Cuomo resigned. I don't care. I wish I could muster up enough give a fuck about Cuomo, about him resigning, about, his governorship, I just don't care. He's just another privileged white guy that feels he can grope and touch women whenever he feels like it and get away with it. And nothing will become of it other than the fact that, they'll fire him. He'll do the Burke circuit, give me a break. Shit. Cuomo, Alexa, how much is Governor Cuomo worth? He's worth $5 million. For God, come on. You feel sorry for him? I don't feel sorry for him. Alexa, stop. I don't feel sorry for him. I do not feel sorry for him. He put himself in the position, I suppose. I can say at least he's being defiant. He's not playing the hypocrite and apologizing and all that shit. He says that they were made uncomfortable. They say he sexually harassed them. I say over how many years they knew who this guy was, knew what he was like. If he was this big harmful guy, I can't imagine these chicks still coming around him. I just don't get him. Look, creeps don't make it. Years and years, they just don't. I just can't imagine. Especially these days. A chick will put hands on you. What are we doing? What? Y'all talk amongst yourselves. Let's talk. That means you guys talk. I mean, what? Cuomo. Not the most, he didn't age well. He stayed out in the sun a little bit. Okay, so he's Leatherface. Chicks look at him. A touch from him. It's not a big threat. He knows he's not going anywhere. Did I say that out loud? I'm Doug Rice. Welcome to the fucking show. All right, so this is why I don't read the comments, because shit comes out of my mouth. I'm sorry. Listen, folks, look, I'm looking at the guy. I'm looking at the guy, okay? These chicks allowed this to go on because I'm looking at the guy. It's not a big deal. Sausage-fingered looking little motherfucker that he is, and for God's sake, what do they care? He's the governor. How you doing? I don't believe he moved on. I believe that Bill Gates, moved closer toward getting anything than Cuomo did. You know, remember Melania rolling her fucking eyes at Trump during the inauguration? That's what they do after Cuomo turns away. Don't fuck with me. I'm sorry. I was a little rough. Only because it's like headline news. I don't care. Go. He's not even. Here's the only saving grace. I read it. He got in a plane and left New York immediately. Thank you. Get the fuck out. Bye. You don't have to fucking, don't drag it on. Get out. But I swear to God, you'll see him tomorrow on some fucking talk show like, I need this shit. Okay, maybe you don't know. I will share this with you. Go to my Twitter page. I have shared publicly the 136-page report. All the women that talked about everything he did. I read through a lot of it, and it doesn't take much to come to the conclusion that this guy's a fucking creep. That's all. He's a creep. Shit women got to go through every fucking day. What are you talking about? You kidding me? It's like, you know, so many victims of white maleness. So many victims. You know, so many silent victims. We can talk about the victimhood to women. Of course we could. Of course we could. We could do a whole show on that, but it's been done. And guess what? I don't really think he fucked with black women like that. I think he drew the line on getting himself hurt. Because first, you're not just gonna grope all over any black woman. Partner. You can be Denzel Washington, motherfucker. You do the wrong. You do the wrong thing. She'll forget you're Denzel, and she'll forget you're the governor too. So he didn't do that with black women. So now we know what he's dealing with. Women who are somehow more tolerant of that activity and tolerated it from him, and we'll move on. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go there, but hey, I'm not reading the comments. So now I'm kind of free flowing a little bit. Okay. We're still on BNC TV, not giving a fuck about the governor resigning. I don't care. Oh well. Again, these guys don't change their stuff. Oh my God, Michael Jai White's son died due to COVID-19. Oh my head. Oh my goodness. That hurts, folks. Oh wow. You know, the brother. The brother with the moves, you know. Wow, his son died. Oh my goodness. I'm just hair blown back. I don't even know. Do I read this? I guess I do. It's news. Oh my God. He was only 38 years old. Well, hold on now. Wait now. Hold on. Now, when you tell me I'm okay, but when I read that Michael J.I. White's son has died due to COVID-19. I'm thinking, oh my God, his son. Brother, oh, son, oh my. Then they got to throw me off with the whole, he was only 38. No. I don't feel less affected by his death, dear God, but you kind of misled me a little bit on that one. Just a bit. I'm not trying to complain, but I'm not going to share that one. So you guys can talk about that one. I apologize. Mike, my condolences, dear God. He's in the Creator's memory and everything. He's square with the house. So you'll see him again. But when you say Mike Jai White's son died due to COVID-19, I thought it was a younger son. And I apologize. I'm a heartless bastard. Okay. We'll move on because he can probably kick my ass in a million different ways, and I'm being insensitive. Moving on. Okay. So I lost like two of you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Of course you know. I'm not sorry. I'm an ass. What is up with this brother T.I.? And I'm just going to say this, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves. Everywhere this brother goes, he's involved in some sort of police incident. And it's not that. I don't mind that as much as, he's black. He's outspoken. He feigns intelligence quite well. Yes, Doug Rice, motherfuckers, welcome. Yeah, he misuses a lot of the, come on, folks. Come on. He's kind of throwing it together as he goes along, and sometimes it works. Sometimes it goes horribly wrong. Moving on, T.I. arrested in Amsterdam after bike incident. Now, folks, it's not the fact that he was arrested. I'm okay with that. It's the shit-eating fucking grin that I have to stare at when this motherfucker gets in problems. I didn't see him get arrested for the fucking, weapons charge, but I'm imagining he had the same fucking look, the same shit-eating grin of idiocy instead of some goddamn shame, contriteness. What? Come on. Don't grin. They really arrested you. I know as lightweight as it might be, it's an arrest. Another one. We don't need you in headlines like this. It's almost like you seek out opportunities. Anyway, okay, so there's a freedom that goes with releasing oneself of caucasity. You can say what's on your goddamn mind, and you don't need the guardrails that keep you in line. It's liberating, folks. I encourage every fucking one of us, every Negro, which is who I talk to. My message is for Negroes. My message is for black people, progeny of slaves in this country. Folks brought here for the sole purpose of creating the superpower it became. Now, that time is over. Our time of enslavement, done. I would say that only because, Doug Rice and many, many others who are making it known. I'm now untethered from the teat of caucasity. I no longer give a fuck about anything caucasity thinks. And this due in a large part to the events of January 6th. That day was almost akin to ripping off the Band-Aid that covered the wound caused by caucasity. Yeah. So when I look at T.I. arrested in Amsterdam after a bike incident, I don't have to consider what my words may do to the ears of those who listen who are not Negro. I now simply say what comes to mind. Let's continue. All right, so T.I. arrested after bike incident. And let me just say, I read the shit, okay? It's a video. Like the dude was like arrested without like either a drink or it was the dumbest arrest, but it's the grin. It's the fucking grin. That's what That's what does it. I'm tired of it. Go somewhere, T.I. You know what I'd like you to do? I'd like you to take yourself and sit the fuck down and be quiet just for a little while. Then when you reemerge, be like a butterfly. Be anew. Pick up a fucking dictionary, too. All right, yeah. Doug, fucking rice. All right, I'm going to go ahead and leave out a black news channel. Here we go, News One. Another one of the top 10, news1.com, green check mark through Google's check mark system. Fucking kids. Don't like the top. Why the student debt pause isn't enough. I don't know how much that has to do with black people, but okay. Listen, this is something I read, which is interesting. But before I go there, let me go here. No white men in Boston mayor race. As someone born in the tri-state area, let me say that is fucking news. Wow. No white men in the Boston mayor race. Folks, I'm going to say that I think we might need to look into that. That don't even sound right. I'd like a list of folks not black who were interested in becoming mayor. I want to make sure those folks are still alive, because that, my friends, almost defies imagination. If you've ever been to Boston, you'd know. Anyway, I'll leave that alone because, well, I had something better. Mississippi has had, count them, this from News One, I will share this, 8 suspected lynchings in Mississippi since the year 2000. Cops routinely rule hanging deaths as suicide. Now, this is posted 4 hours ago. News1.com. You can go to my Twitter account. You can take a look at it. I've posted it there. Of course, we couldn't pass up the opportunity to put a noose as the meme and headline picture. Thanks so much for that, News One. Thanks for hitting that home. 8 suspected lynchings in Mississippi since 2000. Lynchings never stopped in the United States. Lawyer and civil rights activist Jill Colin Jefferson said after conducting a private investigation written by Keenan Higgins, posted 4 hours ago. Let's check it out. All right, so one of the most horrific acts of violence that our ancestors had to endure was the brutal practice of lynching. The reality that life could end in such a horrific way is very real for more people than we like to believe, with one report coming from the Equal Justice Initiative that lists more than 4,000 black men, women, and children who were lynched throughout the country from 1877 to 1950. But the real hot spot for hate, though, ended up being Mississippi, which tallied up 581 lynchings and set the record for any state in America. Well, doesn't that just warm your goddamn heart? since 2000. And 581 lynchings set the record. I encourage every one of us to read that article, newsone.com, Mississippi lynchings report. You got to think about this. I think about what goes through the mind of a brother or a sister or child who is about to be hung as a way of ending their lives. I consider the last moments of their lives, wonder, especially these particular, since 2000, I wonder if one of the things that had to go through their minds was, how could this be happening now? How is this possible? It's interesting. You know, you think about George Floyd, his last few moments of life, as he begged, as he cried out for his mother. I need everybody to understand, and I think as black people, as black men, we do understand. You know, you get a black man calling out for his mother, and let me tell you, folks, it's a dire situation. It's serious. It means something. And the callous, thoughtless manner in which they have ended so many of us. Well, I think that begs pause. I really do. I think we need to take a moment and see this is not stopping. I dare say this might be picking up a little speed. So, right-wing white nationalist thing seems to be growing popular. Perhaps pushed against the tide of all the stats they keep throwing in our fucking face. Keep telling me about Chicago. Keep telling me about Detroit and St. Louis and murder rates and stats. I love stats, motherfuckers. I do. I mean, I can find stats to establish and substantiate nearly any fact I want to throw out. I want to presume as fact. It's cool. But stats aside, it's the attitude I pay most attention to. It's what they do that expresses most their sentiment, most their intent, their feeling toward all of us Negroes in this country. And when I read that 581 lynchings set a record for any state, that amount of strange fruit, hey, I imagine the groups of individuals involved in these lynchings, otherwise what some would consider law-abiding citizens, kind people, otherwise normal people, set in their mind to end a life in that manner. I mean, shoot them, kill them, bare hands, you're mad, you just don't like people, okay. But to hang somebody, well, let me say you something, folks. There's a deep meaning. There's some vitriol there. The malice is, I'll tell you why, because you watch a person hang. It's different from any other method of killing. It's not like just shooting someone or stabbing them or just fit of passion. You're not interested in the event to the extent that you draw it out so you're able to view it. You're able to see it. You're able to see them expire. You're able to watch them relieve themselves. I've heard tell of great joy expressed in the hanging of Negroes. Where do you think that sentiment has gone? News One, check it out. Read the article. I'm not going to read the whole article. I mean, that would just be a waste. But hey, there's a good article from News One. Very, very good. Wow, more about, oh, goodness. And have you guys taken a look at the 32 videos, I believe they have, of Karens striking women, weaponizing their whiteness? It was a sight to behold. News One. You know what I'll do? I'll share that on my Twitter page. You guys got to check it out. It's pretty entertaining. And they just posted this 13 hours ago. Karen's gone wild. Videos show privileged white women can't stop another day, another Karen. This time, a white woman in a clothing store was recorded attacking a black woman before Karen pretended to be. And it's just, look at 1, 2, 3, and they all have the same type. Look at this one pointing a gun. Doug Rice says, hey, stay the fuck out of Cassidy's face. Let me tell you something. There it is. So you'll see that on my Twitter page. Go ahead and check that out. It says they can't stop. I believe that. It keeps happening. Who keeps stirring up this sentiment of fear? Who keeps energizing these people, giving them the idea that we are a threat? When did we suddenly become a threat to them? In the sense that this enveloping atmosphere, this, I don't know, it's vigorous, these folks, and all have the wild-eyed look, this impending look of doom, like something is about to happen to them. And nothing could be further from the truth. Don't think about these motherfucking Karens long enough to care about what's going to happen to them from one moment to the next. I try my best to pass by, not being available, giving them this, not even looking over. Let me tell you something. If you look, oh God. I need to express to everyone the power of looking. It is an action. It's not passive. It's proactive. Don't look. Don't fucking look. Don't look. Evil, sin, bad, people calling right wrong and wrong right, look away. And you trust me on this one. I've done some study. They keep talking about it. David didn't look away. Sometimes you can't look. Sometimes, and then they tell you in the Bible, I will not look upon the evil. Not that it's not there. They tell you it's all around you. Don't look at it. Break eye contact with it. It's not that difficult. Once it's gone, it has no power. Very little. You look back, you might be done. It's an art form. You look at TV, you see some TNA. You see abject, overt, in your face, let's call it fornication. You ain't got to look at that. It'll be over. Enjoy the show. The reason I say that is that God is not, in my estimation, unreasonable. The Creator is not some ogre that is so rigidly nonconformist that you can't thread the fucking needle down here. He knows where we're at. We're surrounded by our enemies. I'm going to say it again. I didn't say they weren't friendly. I just said we're surrounded by our enemies long term. And let me tell you the sinister nature of it. What they've done is they've invited all of our enemies to this country to gloat in our fucking embarrassment. Isn't that interesting? Do you even know what I'm talking about? Isn't it interesting that all of our enemies surround us again? Now, I didn't say they weren't friendly. I didn't say they weren't caring. I didn't say they weren't nice. I didn't say any of that. I just say that they were enemies. Now, how are they enemies? Well, for God's sake, long ago, Hebrews put foot to ass. Those same people are looking us in the face every day. You ever been in a spot somewhere, you walk in, you see someone not a Hebrew, not of your tribe, and there's an energy there, an instant animosity. There's something in the air. There's something there. It's not that you dislike this individual, but you can tell that they don't care for you much. And the feeling is somewhat mutual, and you're not trying to make much of it, but it's palpable. And you try to exit. And listen, folks, let's not fool ourselves. Every war's energy is still here. Every sword thrust, every head chop, every bullet strike, everything still here. That energy still here. Encircling the globe, still here. As a reminder, it happened. So when we talk about the things that occurred, when we talk about white supremacy, when we talk about killing Negroes almost as a past time, this is nothing new. They've been killing us for a long time, folks. And they feel us when we kick their ass. And you know it's true. They're obsessed with Negro history. They're obsessed with scripture. They're obsessed with the Bible. The first thing they did was establish something that could put them in charge religiously. And they studied the scripture, and they know that we are meant to be replaced, enslaved, and made to forget. They also know that time will and very likely has come to an end. So why this attitude toward us? I guess, I don't know. Maybe they see, feel, maybe they've heard something's coming. But let me tell you what they're most cautious of. They're most cautious of black maleness. I do not know what the motherfucking deal is. They want black males in a fucking dress, man. What the fuck? They want black men kissing other men. They highlight this shit. They reward black men who are willing to kiss other men, specifically other black men in public. While I would also mention selling shoes with blood in them. I don't even want to know. But, okay, hey, news one. Census data predicted to find white Americans shrinking. Now, that doesn't mean in stature. That means their numbers shrinking. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. I'm not even going to go there. You know why? First, I'm pretty sure every one of you could play out exactly what I would say word for word. Do that. Bam, good. And let's just move on. I don't even want to address it. News source. All right. So there's news one. Black America Web is always good for some really shocking shit. Really. Oh my God. And the first thing I got to see is, first thing. Okay. So let me say this. I'm gonna say two words that for me best describe Reverend Al, and that is sell out. Now, I remember my Reverend Al. He was heavy set. He had a nice perm. And he wasn't scared to say shit and do shit. And you really had to say he wasn't scared to put himself in the line of fire, but then they gave him a goddamn TV show. Now he appeases and performs for Caucasian. And he now rides the line. And he could be running for governor. Now, another supposed patron of the kingdom throwing his hat in the ring in opposition to God Almighty. If this man calling himself Reverend Al Sharpton, if he maintains that as a title and simultaneously decides to run for the governorship of New York, that is a traitor to the kingdom of God. I'm not going to punish him. I'm just telling you what he is. I don't know what's going to happen to him. I mean, I could think of a few things, but that is what it is. You can't tell me this man doesn't recite the Lord's Prayer, and then he's got nerve to put out that he might intend to run for the very kingdom that has oppressed his people for all these years. Are you fucking serious? I have more in common with the pastor in saying, God damn America, than this clown. I'm going to just put it out there. This is ridiculous. Do I wish him well? Absolutely. I hope he gets all the rewards that he wants. Fucking amen, till kingdom comes. When kingdom comes, as a Hebrew, I'm sure he'll be given the opportunity to make a choice and show a little contriteness. Otherwise, he might buck the system. I need you to understand, the choice that has to be made is a choice you should have already made. Are you for the kingdom or are you for this nonsense? And when God shows up and demands that you make that choice, there are so many that will choose this mess. You have no idea. Some of them, a lot of them, will look just like me. That's that having a form of devotion to God, but actually proving false to the power. The lip service. Profitable faith. But you need to understand this. With this whole deal, there are no deals. God don't make deals. Not in this respect. Deal's already been made. Take advantage of it, don't. But running for governor, I hope not. I hope he comes to his senses and decides against. I only hope he does not just roll down the coon trail any further. He does not need to dig that rabbit hole any further. Yes, I said it. What? Welcome, Doug Rice. Okay, so, we're at about an hour. I think we've done well. I give an hour. I think that's fair. Don't you? I'm sure you guys have talked. I think this is one of my better shows. I'm going to leave it there. I've been expressive. I've made it clear that I am in no way against any group of people. Caucasity knows no color. Truly. Now, stats, well, stats are what they are. All right, folks, I'm going to go. You guys have yourself a wonderful day. And thanks for talking amongst yourselves.